this season and the time that we're living in.
The people will have more joy in God. Amen. I'm so appreciative that you tune in.
Build up your most holy faith by hearing what
22 says, listen to your father who gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she is old. It's our responsibility to pour this into our children. We ought to tell them what they ought to do, how they ought to do. They're not supposed to be shaping us. We're supposed to be shaping them. I heard somebody rightfully say that it's easier to build a child than to repair an adult.
How's everybody doing tonight? I am so excited. I brought you all here to share with the nation concerning the improvement of technology and the need. Pastors are constantly trying to figure out how we can reach the masses. The world has changed since COVID-19, and the church was going through some interesting experiences prior to COVID. And looked like after COVID, she emerged to be a different kind of church. I believe the word church in itself still exists, and God will always have him a church. But pastors are having to find the new strategies for evangelism, trying to find what it takes to do what God's called us to do. As a pastor, as a leader in Jacksonville, one of my struggles has been adjusting to the times. There's all kinds of new ways of communicating. There's streaming, there's IP television. There are all kinds of optimizers and ways. I go down in my timeline and I see pastors doing stuff like boosting their messages so people can see it, and trying to figure out how to doing ads that are church-based ads with their sermon for people to look at. They're trying to figure out, how do we win? How do we get the message? Many churches have not even resumed in-person worship, and there are some wonderful strategies that churches are instituting, as they have been behind the barrier, doing church from the pastor's living room, his makeshift studio, or the worship center with him and a couple of people doing it. And then there are churches that are progressive. So this afternoon, this night, morning, whenever you're looking at us, we're going to talk with several groups of pastors, and these pastors are out there on the cutting edge doing some incredible things in making ministry happen. They're doing the work of the Lord. They're serving, and they're doing some incredible things. Some will be new pastors. One of the guys that we have is a new pastor. One is a gentleman that works Clubhouse and do crusades and creative approaches to evangelism and marketing and stuff like that, and reaching. And then he holds down a secular job where, he the big boss. And then we've got a seasoned veteran that is a guy that I've grown to love and appreciate, that pastors in our city. I think one of the greatest prophetic preaching voices around. As a young man, I would always marvel and come sit in the back when he pastored a traditional church, and even with the emergence of the great new church that God has given him, I sometimes sign on and I share it for other people to see what he's doing, because I have such an admiration and respect for the ministry that he has. And so I'm going to bring everybody on. Can you bring everyone on? And let's see who this power team of leaders are that we've got tonight. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
I'm doing well.
Blessed.
Doing well.
Doing good. How you guys doing?
How you doing? Elder Harris?
I'm doing good. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. I'm glad that you're with us tonight. It is going to be an amazing experience. Now, so let's talk. Pastor Lewis, you are a part of us in terms of the city of Jacksonville, and we've gone through some some changes and adjustments and stuff like that. And the mayor said some stuff, the governor said some stuff. A preacher even went to jail during this COVID thing, preaching. He's up preaching, and they came and got him out of the pulpit basically. And it's been a whole lot in Florida. How has it been pastoring with all of this adjustments?
Well, sometimes I think, Bishop, I have an unfair advantage because, as you know, my early career, the very first career that I had was broadcasting. From out of high school, spent a lot of time on the air as a radio announcer, news director. So I've always been around technology. I've always been comfortable with technology, and so it's really unfair. I have a great level of comfort for it. I see pastors struggling with technology. My heart goes out to them. But the first thing I would say is that technology. Listen, technology was created in Genesis 1:1. All right. And, if I can say anything to soothe pastors, I would say, their first software program was in Genesis 1:1 when God said, and you know something about software programming, Bishop, is all it is a series of ones and zeros. It's lights on and lights off. When God says, let there be light, that was one. When he says the earth was dark and without form, that was zero, lights off. And again, let there be light, 1 and 0. That's the very first, that was technology right there. That was God installing technology into the world to be used later. It's a part of what Jesus meant when he said, greater works than these you would do. Pastor, when I preach now, I'm being heard in 11 countries. 30 some odd states of the United States of America. That never happened from the conventional church building. So we're able to reach more people. And I would just encourage pastors, it's of God. Technology is not of the devil, it's of God. So let's use it.
Well, it is an amazing vehicle to use technology. I see one of our pastors have rejoined us, and so they'll be bringing him back on stage in just a minute. Glad to have you. Technology is an amazing tool for us, and many of us have learned how to maneuver with technology and is still learning how to maneuver. I love it how you made reference to technology being in Genesis and ones and twos, and how it's always been there, and how God instituted technology. I love it. Very, very, very savvy.
You don't get to use that.
At the next conference I go, media conference, I'm gonna give you reference. But and guess what? If you see a cash app coming through, that's my seed. I ain't saying I'm gonna pay the whole tithe, but I'm gonna definitely send you a good seed.
Don't be a plagiarizing pastor. No.
But I'm gonna tell them where I got it from. I'm gonna tell them where I got it from. Listen, man of God, I'm so excited about it. So have y'all gone back into the worship place? Have y'all gone back in yet?
I'm yielding to the brothers.
So to answer your question, hey everybody, I'm Elder Deshaun Harris. So my ministry, we have gone back into the building. Of course, it is not the same anymore. Like as you said before, church is not what it used to be. You now have a new form of church called online church, right? Individuals that we as leaders have to learn how to interact. Can you guys hear me okay? That we as leaders have to learn how to interact with from the online platform. We have to make sure that we're communicating, have teams of people that are online messaging and communicate with these individuals, something that we've never had to do before because it's different. So we're back in the sanctuary with social distance. I'm a servant leader at Living Faith Tabernacle. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, where my leader is Apostle Jeremy Tuck. But yes, it has been a huge transition. It's been something completely different that we're not accustomed to. But this online platform that we now have that If you were tapped into it before this here went into, of course, you had an advantage. But you had to, I definitely believe if you have not hopped on the train of online media ministry and being able to connect with people that you've never connected with before, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it here in just a moment about what we did a couple months ago. It's definitely something that you definitely need to tap into and see how to get involved in.
Yeah, I do find that my members are a little lazier. I think that's what I hear you saying, that they've been spoiled, that all they have to do is send money by way of Cash App and it covers them and they can be anywhere they want to be. I would note, Elder Harris, that they're, so they've changed in that way, but the shepherd has not changed. And so I've learned how to hold them to accountability. If they're not doing the things that they need to do, I will call them personally and remind them that you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So, if the shepherd is the same, I think the sheep will get in line. But yes, I see the laziness, widespread laziness, as a result of virtual worship.
Well, we've been able to, and as each of you individually speak, he's going to bring you as solo on the screen, because I know he knows that's what I desire. But one of the things that we've been able to do is we've been guinea pigging some technology and stuff to help pastors be able to reach larger audiences of people. One of the things that I was concerned when talking to pastors, and I was concerned when talking to pastors across the country. I began to just try to figure out what we could do to help them. They were at a point in their ministries. Young man, thank you. I was at a point in working with pastors that we was trying to figure out how to help them, how to reach more people, how to touch more people. And pastors were struggling. They kept telling me, they was like, Doc, my live stream, I'm seeing just a few people on it, and I really want to reach more people. And so, we kind of developed some things, some tools to reach a larger audience of people. And so, as many of you knew, that over the years, I did the St. Thomas, and still actively engulfed, and it's changed because my largest groups of students were 50 and older, and they were the ones that people said needed to stay home. So it almost put us out of business, and they didn't like Zoom, and they didn't like going to class in front of their computer. It took us a minute to acclimate that group and get them trained to doing that. And I had some schools literally closed down because the people said, I need a teacher in front of me. I don't want to be sitting in front of a screen. I mean, I built, websites, and I tried interactive stuff at first, and it was really a rough transition. But over the years, I've collected a huge amount of data. One of the things I've taught in my media training is data mining, how important it is for pastors and leaders to collect data, collect information, and data becomes power, power of communication. Now, some pastors didn't have a CRM, the this customer management, customer relations, technology to be able to communicate with their people. And they were at looking in your phone, trying to reach Miss Janice, trying to find her number didn't change, and they ran into problems. But we developed this. So I have a mailing list that has emails, address, telephone numbers. To be honest and transparent with you, we got about over 1.5 million people now in our database. These are people that we have worked with, that have gone to school, that have came to functions, that we've collected over 30 years of ministry, and we purged it last year and still kept a great deal of those people still in line because we keep in contact with people and they regularly respond back to us. But we did something very smart, Pastor. My team helped me categorize each of these groups of people. People that were word of faith people, people that were um, techie gurus, people that, love singing. Some church people, the church is basically a song. They love the choir singing. They love individuals. They're hip hop churchers. They love Christian rap, and they spit the lyrics and all of those kinds of things. And then some are more prosperity gospel, and then there's mainline Southern Baptist churches or independent Baptists where it's King James only. We'll lose no other book other than that. Well, we've kind of placed our director. Then there are people that like marriage ministry and singles ministry, and that's always changing, but different categories. And so what we figured out that if a pastor went live, we could send a text blast and an email blast out to a group of people, and they would respond in kind, some during the time of the broadcast while people are watching, and then some would, over a period of time or a day or later that afternoon, when they settled, get in their email, click on, and hear the messages of pastors. And we called it the Maximizer. We didn't really know what we had at first. All we knew is that we wanted to. So, I kind of guinea pigged a couple pastors, just kind of in our emphasis stage. I think Pastor Lewis, we kind of tried it with you in the beginning stage. Pastor Lewis said, "What happened?"
18,000 views.
Huh?
18,000 views.
What? Put him on the screen. What happened now?
In one service, we had 18,000 views. In another service, we had 14.9.
Jesus. The amazingness of being able to communicate, to get the message out and more viewership. And so we've just kind of began to kind of help pastors and to do that, because I've been committed that we got to get the message out. And so there are pastors we help that are new. Now, so this other guy, I fell in love with his singing ministry. So he was my little thing before going out to preach. I would flip him on and listen to his singing ministry sometimes, or play back during the week his singing ministry. So he was my favorite New York singer. And I had got used to him and kind of stopped following him. To be honest with you, I was a little bit of a hater, and I stopped following him for a little while because he's a workout person. And I looked at one of his pictures working out, and I was like, I was a hater. But I reverted back. I got saved and delivered all over again, and I started listening to his music. A tremendous music gift. And he's doing a new work. He was called to pastor in California. And so sometimes I would just share some of his stuff online. Tell me how did it happen in New York, and introduce the people to you, Pastor Hurd.
Hello, everybody. Hello. So yes, I'm totally fresh and new to this role as pastor. I've been pastoring out here in California for 5 months. The name of our church is Genesis Worship Center. And so I was called directly by the founder and the Bishop George Matthews, who was pastoring and serving here for over 20 years. And so I'm more than honored to step in. I have some big shoes to fill, of course, because he's been a powerhouse in this city in terms of we're running a housing program for and doing case management with young men. We're cleaning up the illegal dumping. We are feeding the community twice a week. So there's a lot of, even though we're technically, we haven't we just relaunched the first Sunday in January. And so the church has been closed for a while, but now we're relaunching in a very peculiar season, because of what's going on with COVID. But we're doing a lot of community outreach. And I believe most of us, if we do that, by the time our churches open back up, we'll have an audience to preach to, hopefully new converts, new souls. And so we've been doing a lot of outreach, and focusing on the online services, focusing on the online church since we just launched. But I must say that the moment that we plugged into this network, now even before I even came out here to pastor, Bishop would tell you when I would go live, I would get a decent. I had a decent following. People would watch, but I think one day Bishop just plugged me in, and I was so shocked because it was regular devotional service. I wasn't even going in that day, I think. But I was just shocked at the amount at the audience, and they stayed throughout the entire. I mean, it was over an hour. I was just like, "Where's all these people coming from? Who are all these people?" Come to find out, Bishop done plugged me into the network, and so when of course, moving out here, having making new connections, I know for a fact that I needed to try and boost the numbers because I'm new to the city. Nobody really knows me out here. This is a relaunch in a very awkward season to be relaunching the church when people don't want to go to church. So this has definitely been a blessing to us because we average at least over 14.7K views every single stream. So that's amazing. That's amazing. We have at least 150 people watching every Sunday. That's amazing. And we're just now starting. So that's even more amazing because for us to get this amount of participation just starting, that's incredible. That really is incredible. That really is a true testament to what you guys are doing and the amount of connections that are being made.
Now, one of the ways that we do that, Pastor, one of the ways that we're able to work that out is simply when you go ready to go live, we will send an email blast out to people that and we're targeting ready. We've gotten a little bit, at first it was a little rough, and then we was figuring our way out. He called me one time for New Year's Eve service and said, "Hey, we're starting service. And it's gonna be at 3:00 in the morning, your time, 12:30 our time." I said, "I ain't never used the maximizer for that time of the morning. I don't know if anybody go look."
Hello.
And so I set it and set the email blasts and the out. And I was, to my amazement, I was shocked. People started signing on and looking. And I was able to hold my eyes up a little bit and look. And then I went on, I called the service the next day. But it's been a real blessing to be able to be there. But what we do is we target. So I've been looking for people that's part of us that like New York style church in California. Wow. New York church is different. I mean, yeah, New York church is different now. You can put them all us on for a minute, sir. New York church is a different kind of church. They pick them up and put them down in New York. I still remember. I remember doing pastoring work in Yonkers, and man, we would pick them up. The only thing I hate is leaving Long Island trying to navigate. So the traffic was just like of the devil. But we had good church, and the worship experience. The Hammond organs always sounded good. I mean,
don't make me turn it on. Don't make me turn it on. I'm not too far.
It used to open up in those churches, man, and those cathedral-style churches with them high ceilings. And man, them organs would just fill, them Leslies would just fill the room. And so out there, what I realized is that you have a tremendous gift of communicating, and you don't look like the traditional preacher. I mean, I'm having to deal with it because I'm old school church. So we call it down and
it.
Lord, praise God is good.
My grandmother was pastoring over 40 years. And so, you know, I was raised old school, meaning I still sing hymns, know all the verses. But when my grandfather found out I was taking this next step into ministry, he said, "Oh, you gonna cut your hair now?" He said, "You a young man, not a young lady." So yeah, I come from the old school too. This is different for me, even keeping my hair, pastoring. But this is a lot of what we're dealing with in this day is different. And if it's gonna help win us all, I'll do it. I'll do it. I want to be relatable. I'm being relatable on intentionally.
Well, Pastor Hurd, you look closer to Jesus than I do.
Can you tell him that? Can you tell him
Yeah, you took a Nazarite vow.
Yes, thank you. Come on now.
Well, I've been so blessed to just work with. Now, so recently I got a chance to try something new. I am not. If I be honest with you, I'm not really a Clubhouse person. Every now and then I get on Clubhouse. I'm now tapping into the app. I've guinea pig trying to share blasts out for the app. It's kind of rough. I'm working my way through that and navigating through it. I did something the other week for someone, and we had like 500 people in a room on Clubhouse, and it's inconsistent because Clubhouse people take breaks from Clubhouse. You know, they're like, I'm not doing Clubhouse, and they just stop. So I'm like, and so they was like, I don't even have an app on my phone no more. So like I'm sending to people, and some of the people that I'm sending are more seasoned people, and they was like, Clubhouse, what's Club? And so I have to try to explain what Clubhouse is. So I'm still working through that. But one of the pastors that team pastors with us that helps us, he is an amazing gift. His name is Bishop Russell Taylor. He is my vice prelate in our covering organization for churches. And he said, "Hey, my cousin is having a meeting." He came to the service where he was being ordained and consecrated in the ministry, and you may not have remembered him because he came in and left out, but he's doing something where it's On My Way Home conference. And I said, "What is On My Way?" All I could think of is the song On My Way Home. So that's all I can think of. He said, "No, it's a real meeting where they're bringing people from Clubhouse that have been churching for the last year or so together, and they're coming together for a hybrid meeting. It's going to be in person and online." And I told him about your ability to connect with people and bring people together. And I said, "Well, we've got a large network, the Inspired Network, because we have two different things. We have Chrome Media, which is our production air company, and then we have the Inspired Network, where we have over 250,000 subscribers that are active subscribers on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and our apps. And I keep saying 250,000, but I think the last update is that we've increased by over 50,000. So that puts us almost over 300,000 homes. But and that's a miracle within itself. And I'll tell you before we end. So he asked me, and I said, "Well, let me meet him." He said, "I'm gonna do an interview with him and talk with him." And I began to hear his heart. I began to hear him talk and about what he was doing. And I was like, wow. I mean, he's young, he's energetic, he's got an idea, he really wants to reach it. Let me see what we can do to put our support behind him. And he organized a team, and they did. And so I want you to hear him. He came up earlier on the stage and he was talking, but I want you to hear him and to hear his heart. And then I want you to share with you what happened as a result of that being a part. Give him the stage if you'll be so kind. And that's what I have.
Amen. I'm going to put you guys on mute so my laptop won't echo. So if you're talking, I may not hear you. I just don't want my laptop to echo. But hey, everybody, so good to see you all. Thanks again, Bishop, for this platform to be able to speak and talk about it. Anytime you ask me to talk about this, I'm going to talk about it because that's just how much of a blessing this was for me. As you stated, for the last year or so on Clubhouse, this brand new app where you don't see anyone's face, right? You don't meet anybody face to face. You see a picture, you hear a voice, and you communicate with them. We had a Clubhouse called On My Way Home. And this room was created for people who are on their way home. And we would just literally be in the car riding home, and we'll be encouraging each other. We would have topics, we would have scriptures, we would pray, preach, prophesy, all that good stuff, cry and all kind of stuff, and laugh and have a good time. And over time, we said, well, let's get together. Let's plan a conference. And I've never done anything with people who I've never met before, but literally everyone on this app I never met before. And so we built a team and got it together and planned it and all this good stuff. And we had the venue, we had the church, we had all this other kind of stuff. And my cousin Russell, Bishop Taylor, he was like, listen, I think you're onto something here. I think we can really help you guys out. And I met with Bishop, and, Bishop was telling me, we have this many people, we can get this many people on your live stream. And I was like, okay, you know how you are. You're like, oh, okay. And so I said, well, let's try it. So we partnered with the Inspired Network, and we partnered with them, and we just trusted and believed God for what we're doing. The whole purpose of this was to get people together that from different backgrounds, different nationalities, different. I'm talking about Baptist, AME, Pentecostal, Apostolic. Literally, everybody came together. Different, white, black, Puerto Rican. It don't matter what. Nigerian. We had someone fly all the way from Nigeria. Do y'all hear me? Came all the way from Nigeria to come to the conference. Insane. 12-hour flight. We had people that took trains and buses to come down. We had over 300 people in the building. But you wouldn't believe how many people we had viewing. At one point in time, throughout the entire service, consistently throughout the service, you can go and look at the service itself, it's still online. We had almost 1,000 people at one time, consistently watching the service. And now we're talking about a 3-hour service that we were doing. And consistently we had it. By the time everything was all said and done, we had over 30,000+ people that had watched and viewed the live stream. Not only that, but even the giving. We had even the people who gave. When I tell you they gave substantially and poured into the ministry substantially from online, just from connecting to us through the Inspired Network and all the places that it was shot through. I don't know how Bishop worked his magic, but he was shooting and listen, he was traveling and doing ministry and texting me and all kind of stuff. But when I tell you, it was absolutely phenomenal. And because of that, I think I just told Bishop the other day, I have a service coming up here in April that I'm again going to utilize the Inspired Network again for this service I'm going to do here in April. And April is going to be absolutely amazing too as well. But man, this is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So tell me how many people viewed one more time. Could you do that for us? And hold on, they're going to put you back on screen, but I want you to tell.
It was over 30,000+ people that viewed the live stream. It's online right now. You can go to my page. You can see the video. You can see the views on it. Over 30,000+ people that viewed the live stream.
Wow. What gets me excited is the gospel is being preached throughout the world. and people in conventional ways are being... I have Lutheran pastors I work with that call me and tell me, hey, Doc, plug us in to people seeing us. And I work with Lutheran churches. And, if let me tell you the miracle, and I won't bore you because I know your time is precious. But this was never started with a desire to be a television network or this network mechanics. To be honest with you, I kind of wanted to be a video blogger, and I started doing it, and I started helping pastors and churches and putting out scandal fires and dealing with stuff, and I had all of this equipment after I had done it, and then so I said, you know what, I'll just kind of use it for my own stuff putting out, and I was looking at television one night, and a guy was on, and on Facebook, and Facebook was interactive with the television, and he was horrible. The production, he pastored a really large church, and everything about it was horrible. I mean, just the whole experience was, I was like, and I looked at my wife, and anybody knows my wife, Lady Vicky, she's a country girl from Whiteville, North Carolina, small town. She just looked at me and she said, there you go. There you go. That's it. She said, you're being arrogant. I said, well, baby, I said, they have a big enough budget. Their budget is probably larger than ours. They got a big enough church. Why would they do this? When it comes down to ministry, I take it real serious. We do it with excellence. It don't matter what your budget is, how much you got, at least you give God your best, no matter where you at. And she said, well, remember, you said if you can't help somebody, you definitely won't hurt them. I said, well, I'm not. She said, you need to help him. And the next day I called that pastor up and I said, Pastor, can you come by and let's talk? And we have a little cafe at the church. In the time we had, I think it was Sandy was doing the Lord's Kitchen or something. We had a cafe. We have a cafe still. And at that time we had a cafe, and I got him something to eat, and we talked. And I said, well, let me help you. I took him and showed him what we had. And I was able to help him, and viewership, and people started watching. And then he told somebody else about me, and another pastor told somebody else about me, and another pastor told somebody. And next thing I know, I had all these pastors I was producing podcasts for, and nothing to do with the podcasts. So I was like, you know what? We need to do something. Maybe we need a channel, like a Roku channel, Amazon Fire Stick channel. So we just started. We added a Roku channel, and it was like, okay, we can add it on our website. And then we and we just kept adding and adding. And the miracle of it is, during that time, if most of you may not know, I had a brain aneurysm, and I fell dead in my home, and God miraculously brought me back to life. I had surgery, emergency brain surgery, and all of that kind of stuff. And so I had to learn how to walk, talk, and to function again. While I was recovering, we developed this system that works. My staff continued doing the things that we do. And people started signing up continuously for the network. We kept growing while I was trying to learn how to walk again, learn how to function again. The favor of God breathed upon it. Now, what's so miraculous to me about it is, pastors, we like to be in control. We like to be in charge. This grew without my hand. I mean, he gave me the matrix to set up, and faithful people kept doing the same thing we were always doing when I was around, and it continued to grow. God breathed on it. And so we've been blessed, and I know that it's not because of my ingenuity, it's his grace. And so I want to make sure that this platform, we do stuff for secular people as well, but I'm really interested in what we do with our faith community. I help, politicians, attorneys, and cooking restaurants communicate their message and all of those kinds of things. But my baby is the body of Christ. And I just want to salute you, pastors, for trusting us from time to time to help amplify your voice with our maximizer and to get the message out. Can you bring them all on screen if you be so kind? You're doing an amazing job in the areas that you do what God's called you to do. And thank you at some time and some more often than others have been able to trust us to do to help you communicate your voice. Y'all are amazing communicators in your own right. And you come from different extremes. I mean, we got them from all over from the other coast. And we've got them on this coast as well. And then we've got someone from our home front in our very own city, an amazing preacher. This guy is just an amazing preacher. I used to sit there. He preached so good, he didn't even have to holler for me just to hear him open the text. Good meat makes his own gravy. And I've enjoyed him. I guess if I would say anything tonight, if there was a pastor or a leader that's looking to reach people and to do something, would you necessarily say that this is definitely something they should consider looking into?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Bishop, I think a part of the reason you're so successful is nobody's ever been able to convince you of your limitations. They tried to tell you, but they didn't convince you. And if you don't know your limitations, you're not programmed to fail. And I've noticed that about you, very young man. And I think I'm the oldest on this. My oldest son is 45 years old, so I'm probably the oldest on here.
Hats off to you, sir. Hats off to you.
And I'm so proud of these young pastors, Pastor Hurd and Elder Harris. You guys assure us that there's going to at least be another great generation of pastors when we old fogies, we move on. But Bishop, when I need to know something about technology, I have to give you a call. If I haven't talked to you in a long time, if I ever need, you are it, and you're my IT call, anything I need. I'm going to do more with the network than I have been doing. I want to tell you that now. I'm getting close to retirement from secular employment, and so I'm going to do everything. Well, I'm at retirement age, Bishop. And so I'm going to give everything, full bore to the church. And I believe in the network. I'm going to do more. I would say if a pastor doesn't want to work with you, they're somewhat cray-cray.
Well, and I try to make sure that for me, that this is about the embodiment of the body of Christ and helping leaders and helping the church. I have pastors call me all the time and they say, "Hey, Doc, what kind of camera should I need? What do I need to do to communicate this message?" And believe it or not, I find time to schedule and do it, to answer those calls, not because it's an economic return. Many times it's not. It's because if I can help them get a clearer picture, a better angle, do what they're called to do it, then it's a chance that somebody's cousin, somebody's brother, somebody's mama, and somebody's sister might know, or uncle may come to know Jesus because of the message that's communicated. I started streaming years ago when people used to tell me, I was YouTubing and coming on and MySpacing and all of those kinds of things, and all of these things when people thought I was crazy. And I'm grateful that God allowed us to be ahead, so that when all of these things came, we were ready for it. Our team was ready, technology was ready, and we're ready. And so I just want to help pastors make that conversion. I've got pastors we work with now that are now, they've let me develop a system for them, and they're doing $20,000, $30,000 a month of income coming into the church through their online virtual congregation and people of just being a part. Now, it's not about money, but also they're seeing, I got a pastor that he pastored 20 members soaking wet. That's it. That he's now seeing over 200 people regularly attend a part of his virtual church. I mean, he regularly ministers to them, and they're doing projects like coats for doing COVID. And I mean, they raised $50,000 for coats during COVID to help people that were homeless. And it's amazing to be a part. And if I be real transparent with you, to go from death to here, and I promise God, if he let me live and let me function and get my mind back, because there was days where I was cognitively challenged, and if he gave it back to me, that we would invest it in the kingdom and bettering his people. So I'm thankful, and I want to tell you, pastors, thank you for being trailblazers and getting the word out. Most pastors, hold their little secret of what they're doing as, just to them. I'm not telling anybody what I'm doing. Just keep doing what you're doing for me, but I'm not telling anybody. You are willing to share the benefit that other people can benefit. So you are team players in the kingdom. So I thank you so much. Well, to our
and thank you,
audience,
thank you, Bishop. Thank you. I think one last thing. I think it's important to note also that because you are in leadership the way that you are, There's a certain level of trust that leaders will give you as opposed to others who just trying to get them to understand the scope of our work is difficult. But because you already understand the scope of work, you understand some of the challenges that come with media ministry, because it is ministry. It's not just technology. It's a ministry behind it. The creative mind that has to come behind it has to be ministry minded, because you want to, like, we have a big video wall. It's not just enough to have the nice technology, but we need somebody to think about the images that will help push the sermon and grab people's mind to help push the gospel message. Faith coming by hearing, hearing by the word of God, and you help how people hear us, how we're presented. And so that is so important. We are infiltrating the devil's area of the airwaves, and so he's the prince of the air.
Yes,
but
he is.
Now, we are now invading that territory. And I think it's such a massive ministry that the Lord has given you, because of the amount of impact that the impact will be unknown. Honestly, you'll never really know how many people you really touch, even though the numbers may say, but you'll really never know the magnitude of the impact that you're making in the kingdom. And so thank you for sharing your knowledge, your platform. As Pastor Lewis said, I know definitely my team, we need more in terms of training. We have the technology. It's one thing for you to buy all the equipment, but we done went so far into the future, we don't know how to work none of this stuff. You need people with degrees almost to operate this technology. And so, in terms of training and administration, knowing what to do first, prioritizing all that stuff, we will definitely be reaching out to you even more, because I know that you have the rubric, you have the plan. And thank you once again.
Before you let us go really quickly, I want to say, man, thank you too as well. When I first met you, it's very, very straight to the point, Bishop about business. He like, listen, this is what it is. And some people, everybody can't handle it, but he knows what he's talking about. And that's one of the biggest things I learned. And we kind of, we work do some stuff with some individuals, Bishop. We won't go into it, but it taught us how to moving forward for the next go around, like what to do, the people that we want to work with, to make sure we get the product that we want to get on our end when we're doing what we're doing too as well. And I think it's big. And I want to say to those young preachers, I'm 30 years old, just turned 30 December the 16th. I want to say to those young leaders and stuff, I'm not a pastor. I'm young in ministry. I know the Lord's calling me to it. I don't know when, and I ain't rushing him either. He can take his time. But what I will say is this, to you young leaders that are starting off in ministry, you young pastors, you can't do it all by yourself. You need help. And it's okay to say you need help. It's okay to say I need a stronger reach. I need some people who have been there before that can show me how to do it. And if you need to establish a fundraiser to come up with the funds to pay for something like this right here, then let's do that. Let's make it a part of your budget, a fundraiser to be able to establish this, to build your growing, to build your following. It took me one time to see it. And I called Bishop, I say, I'm putting you on my calendar. We need to have a meeting. I got some more stuff coming up. Because it showed me that I may have garnered 40 viewers if I had done it myself, right? Maybe not even consistently 40 people. But to see that live stream, and Bishop, we circled it. I think we was texting, and I was like, man, this thing has over almost 1,000 people consistently sitting here, not moving, watching this service. And then to go back, and every time the numbers would go up, I would send a screenshot to him and Bishop Taylor, like, listen, it's at 25,000. It's at 30,000. These people still watching. Service is over. The program is over. And these people are going back to watch the replays to see and that's really big. That's the reach that this network has. And so I want to tell you, young preachers, young pastors, young elders, whatever you are, listen, it's okay to say you need help. And it's okay to come up with strategic plans and strategies to come up with the finances to do something like this right here. It's not out of reach, and you definitely can make it happen.
Wow. Thank y'all so very much. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just floored and honored to come from the ashes of death almost to being able to do this. I promise God that I would take ministry and his people seriously. And I'm thankful for the opportunity. You know, we're being asked to do stuff all over the world, and it's a little boy from Lackawanna, little small little broke area of town that the Lord's done this for, and it's because we're going to keep pastors and ministry first. So to you all, now pastors, some of y'all, I hate that you're out of town. Every Monday night, Monday and Tuesday, we have a media training class for free now. Pastor Lewis has caused that to happen, that every Monday night and Tuesday night, pastors and their leaders or their stuff come in, and I train them for 6 months completely free. I just want to see the body of Christ equipped. I've said pastors send their people down to just spend 2 days with us. Like, hey, come train my people. Now I used to charge for it, but I'm gonna be honest with you, we got an overwhelming support, and it was great economically, but there's so much a need in the churches, if I be honest, that really needed it, didn't have the money in their budget to afford it. So it forced me to say, you know what, we'll hire someone part-time to train them. And then we just added it to our budget to add someone on our budget to do that. And so our team is committed, helping you get your message out. I love you. I've got to go. I appreciate y'all. Y'all rock. Y'all are the most amazing guys ever. And I thank you so much. Now, they're going to probably get me because we have a woman in ministry on here, and it might have been said that we were sexist, but it works for women churches too. So if you got your book signing or your ministry thing, whatever God called you, it works for y'all too. Love you so much. Be blessed. And y'all have an amazing evening. Thank you for your time.
God bless you. God bless you, Bishop, Pastor Lewis, Elder. Pleasure to meet you both.
Would you like to reach more people with your message, but it seems like you've reached the social media glass ceiling? Has it been a nightmare for you to have the content, but can't attract the right viewers? Are you frustrated because you're not getting the results that you desire? Let us give you a precise 72-hour plan that'll refocus your strategy with the Inspired Network Branding Department. We can take your business or project to the next level. For more information, give us a call. Do you love video production? Would you like to have a career in video production, but don't know where to start? Your problem is you have no one to teach you. Well, the Inspired Television Network is initiating its apprenticeship program. We'll teach you video production, how to set up the simple camera operation, post-production, and advanced editing. Imagine sitting down with an expert and being taught weekly how to do it. It's a 6-month program that requires a minimum of 10 hours a week of hands-on training and 3 hours a week of classroom training. You've always wanted to make movies or learn production. This is the perfect program for you. Give us a call today at 904-389-5592 or sign up at www.learntv.today. It's free for churches and nonprofits. So you've been watching the show. Would you like to be a content provider yourself and develop a show for the Inspire Network? Please give us a call today at 904-389-5592 or go to www.connecttv.info to submit a show idea.
This season of the time that we're living in,
The people will have more joy in God. Amen. I'm so appreciative that you tuned in.
Build up your most holy faith by hearing what
22 says, listen to your father who gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she is old. It's our responsibility to pour this into our children. We ought to tell them what they ought to do, how they ought to do. They're not supposed to be shaping us. We're supposed to be shaping them. I heard somebody rightfully say that it's easier to build a child than to repair an adult.